Hello, everybody, and welcome to your first new student Falcon Live Chat. My name is Bobby Lynn Kekik, and I'm the Associate Director of New Student Programs and Development.
Hi, everyone. I hope you're all having a good day. My name is Stephanie Cohen, and I'm a Program Coordinator in New Student Programs and Development.
And we are so pumped that you're here to spend a little bit of your day with us. We recognize that right now it is 6 p.m. in Waltham, Massachusetts, here at Bentley University, but we may have people joining us from all over the country or all over the world. So thank you so much for spending a little bit of your day with us today. So Falcon Live Chats are our webinar series that we host throughout the summer to provide you some more information to really help aid in your experience and your transition prior to arriving here on campus. So there are a few other live chats that you'll see throughout the summer, and we're going to share a little bit more information with you today to really help you think about what is this summer experience, what do I need to do in order to be successful, and how can I really make the most of this time before I arrive here on campus. So what we're going to do is share probably about 20 to 25 minutes of information for you. And then at the end, we will open it up to any questions that you might have. So what we'll ask is that throughout the presentation, you'll notice that when you logged in, you were already muted, and we do ask that you keep that muted throughout just so that it's not interfering with the rest of the presentation for everyone else. And then also, you have the ability to keep your video on if you want, but please note that other people can see you when you are doing that. We love seeing friendly faces, but we just want to make sure that you feel comfortable throughout this live chat with us today. And as I mentioned, at the end, we will answer any questions that you have. So please feel free to put any of those questions in the chat box, and then we will get to them at the end.
So to get started, we wanted to first share some of the staff members that you'll be connecting with over the summer. Bobby Lynn and I both work in the Office of New Student Programs and Development, and we are the office that is working to put together all of the orientation summer experiences as well as your orientation experience once you arrive here in August. So our staff consists of Bobby Lynn, myself, and our colleague AJ, who actually works to welcome many of our graduate students on campus, but you'll definitely see him around throughout the summer and some of these opportunities, as well as on campus in August. Another important group of staff members that we would like to introduce you to are our student staff. So throughout the summer, we have 4 what we call student coordinators, and they help to lead our team of 74 student leaders throughout the summer and while you are all here on campus in August. These folks are all juniors and rising seniors, and they've actually been part of our team before in the past, and they'll be working really hard to connect with you through different engagement opportunities, make sure that you're staying up to date on tasks. They may be reaching out to you via email, or you may be able to have the opportunity to connect with them via social media. So you'll get to definitely know them a little bit more throughout the summer. In addition to them, we also welcome 2 graduate interns who will be joining us in just about a week. So you may have the opportunity to interact with them as well through these different Falcon Live Chats and other virtual live chat opportunities. And then once you arrive on campus in August, you'll be greeted by the rest of our orientation team. So that team consists of our orientation assistants as well as our orientation leaders. Once you arrive in August, each of you will be assigned to an orientation group, and you will have an orientation leader that we fondly refer to as our OL. So when you hear the term OL, you'll know that that is your group leader and your go-to person while you're here on campus during that week to really help you get comfortable on campus, begin to meet new friendly faces, and many of them stay connected and engaged with their new students throughout the first semester on campus and first year as well. Another piece that we wanted to share with you throughout the summer as you're thinking about the different components that you're taking part in are the goals that we really use to guide us through this process. So we have certain goals that we want to meet to ensure that you are going to be successful here at Bentley. And our office's purpose is for us to create a foundation of success for you so that you can thrive as a Bentley student. So thinking a little bit more about that, we want to make sure that you feel welcome when you arrive on campus. We want to make sure that you're feeling comfortable and that you're able to start connecting with your peers and other community members here at Bentley. In addition, we want to start to share with you some of our community values. Having an inclusive community here at Bentley is really important for us, and we want to make sure that all of our students and community members feel welcome and included, and our values help us to really guide those practices. So we will share with you some of our guiding values, what we call our Bentley core values. In addition, you'll learn more about academics. Throughout the summer, you'll have opportunities to connect with our colleagues and the Office of Academic Services to share with you information about what your academic course schedules will look like here at Bentley. And then you'll have other opportunities to connect with them when you're here on campus to learn more about academic success. We also have lots of opportunities for engagement both throughout the summer, so virtual opportunities to connect, and then more in-person opportunities for you to connect with your peers when you're here on campus. So there'll be a variety of different social events that occur when you're here, and then some more intentional engagement opportunities with your peers and some upper class students when you arrive. And finally, it's really important that we share with you the traditions of Bentley. While you're a student here, we want to make sure that you're taking part in these traditions and that you really feel connected and a part of this community. And then when you graduate from Bentley, we want to make sure that you continue to engage with us as you move forward with your life and future endeavors.
So at this point, you should have received your new student guide that is really going to help us outline a lot of what we're going to discuss today. But before you did that, you spent a lot of your time in the Bentley Connect portal. And that was the portal that you submitted all of your admissions materials through. You worked really hard to be able to get here. You put a lot of time and effort into that. And all of that was done in your Bentley Connect portal. You should have also deposited, and then the next step from there is really signing that technology ethics agreement to be able to get your email. So if you haven't done that yet, we will give you some tips in just a minute, but that's really kind of that first step. Then you get that new student guide, and the new student guide really does outline all of the tasks that you need to accomplish throughout the summer. And there are a lot of tasks there, so we do encourage you, while it is 20-some pages, to really make sure that you take an opportunity to review that guide, because it is going to give you a lot of insider tips, a lot of information that's really going to help to make this a smoother process. Your new student portal is really where you should be living now. That is going to be the space where you have access to all of those tasks. It's going to be the space where you can access your online orientation. We will be sending announcements through that portal throughout the summer, so it's really important to keep that in mind. As Steph mentioned, course registration does happen throughout the summer, and that is a virtual experience. So that's kind of that next step along the new student process. That occurs in July for our first-year students, and it occurs in August for our transfer students. And then we'll have a variety of engagement opportunities that will be happening throughout the summer. And we'll share some more insight into those in just a moment. And then we have orientation. And orientation is a wonderful tradition here at Bentley, and it's really that opportunity to start your experience here, to start to get to know people, to make sure that you're feeling good and ready for those first days of classes, and feeling like this is the place that you want to be. So we're going to dig a little bit deeper into all of that content just so that you understand what that looks like. So as I mentioned, the Bentley Connect portal, this is where you put all of your content in regards to your admission process. At this point, you should have already gone in and signed your technology ethics agreement. So after you deposited, it would have prompted you to go in and sign that tech ethics agreement. If you have not done that yet, please make sure that you do go in and sign that technology ethics agreement, because that's what's going to generate your Bentley email. It is synonymous with Bentley credentials. You might hear people say Bentley credentials or Bentley email. So please make sure that you have taken that step to be able to get that, because your email is really going to help be that key to success. It's going to allow you entry into your new student portal. It's going to allow you to be able to communicate with our community members and be able to accomplish a lot of those tasks. So if you have not done that yet, please, please, please make sure that you go in and do that.
Okay, and I know we mentioned before your new student guide. This over here shows a screen grab of what that looks like. So as Bobby Lynn mentioned, you should have received this via email, and if you're a domestic student, you would have received a copy of this through snail mail. But we really want to encourage you to be taking a look and taking an active part in learning more about these resources over the next few months. So we know it is a lengthy document, but it is really helpful, and it'll give you a lot of information, tips, and tricks with questions that you may have. So we encourage you to take a look there. It will outline all of your new student onboarding experiences, the tasks you need to complete. It will also go through and share with you information about the corresponding offices. In the back part, I do want to note that there is an entire page of contacts. So if you do have any questions, you can of course feel free to contact our office directly, and we can make sure to put you into contact with the corresponding department for that task. But we encourage you to take a look there too, because you can always feel free to reach out to the specific individuals, and their email and phone numbers are all listed in there. One point that we do want to make is throughout the summer, as you're connecting with our office and other departments, Bentley is open Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. So if you are calling us, that's the best time to call. On Fridays, the orientation office does have students available on call from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So you can always feel free to call our number on a Friday if you have a question. But if you are emailing and you're expecting a response, Thursday night into Friday, make sure you're giving a little bit of time for folks to get back to you. They will get back to you by Monday. And if you need that Friday buffer, we are available on that day too. And the next piece that we want to share with you all is the new student portal. So as we mentioned before, this is going to be really your landing page once you go ahead and sign the technology ethics agreement and get your email started. In the new student portal, you'll be able to access all the different tasks that you need to complete through the checklist. We'll go into a little bit more depth about the checklist in a few minutes. You'll also be able to access the Bentley Beginnings online orientation. So that'll take you through a module where you listen to a set of different videos and resources, and at the end of each section you'll have to complete a quiz. So while it may be tempting to click through each section, we really need you to go through and be reading through the resources and learning more information about all of that, all the different offices and opportunities that you'll have to connect with folks here on campus during your time at Bentley. In addition to that, we can also post announcements there for you to be checking throughout the summer. So we really encourage you to make sure that you're checking back, and you can see on the screen here, this is a sample of what your portal will look like. So you can be checking back for announcements. They'll be along the bottom of the page where the this little icon is here, the little horn icon. So you can be checking there to read more on what's going on. And while we encourage you to be checking your Bentley email frequently throughout the summer, we also encourage you to be checking your new student portal for any updates that we may be posting through there.
And so Steph just referenced the new student checklist. So this checklist lives in your new student guide on page 2, but it also lives virtually within your new student portal. And it's really important that when you're going in to complete a task that you are mindful of the deadlines, because there are a lot of deadlines, and that you are also keeping track of what you've completed. So to the left of the task is a little square, and we ask that you click that square and that will check off the task. This will allow you to keep yourself on track of what you've already completed and allow us a quick snapshot into what people have completed. Where are people stuck? Do we need to be providing more assistance? How can we be helpful and useful? We do want to make sure that folks know that once you check off an item, it does stay checked. So if you accidentally click something, we are not able to unclick that, but you do need to keep in mind for your own personal knowledge that if you clicked it and you actually didn't do it, you want to make sure that you go back in there and complete those tasks. There are a few tasks on there right now that you are not able to access. So your housing application and your contract, you cannot access that yet, but you will be able to do so soon. Your health immunization and forms for your health care, you will not be able to access that until early June, but you do need to keep in mind that those are coming up soon. So please, please, please keep that in mind. The first big deadline that we want to make sure that everybody is aware of is your writing assessment essay. So if you have not started that yet, we do highly encourage you to go in and start completing it. It is a 500-word essay. It's based off of a prompt and an article that you'll read, a story that you'll read, and then you're providing a response off of that. That writing Assessment is going to allow our faculty to be able to read through and then decide kind of where you're going to be placed in your expository writing courses. So please do make sure that you take that seriously. If you start it, it will, you do not have to complete it all in one section. You'll be able to go back to it up until the deadline, and that deadline is on June 5th. So it is pretty quick, but please make sure that you are paying attention to that and that you're timely with that deadline. This bright colored timeline in front of you right now is a quick snapshot into a majority of the steps that you'll be taking throughout this summer. This does not include everything. So again, we want you to refer back to that checklist, to that new student guide, but these are some of the high level experiences that you're gonna have throughout the summer. So congrats to you all. You are at least at step 3, which is your Falcon live chat. If not a little bit further along, if you have not done so already, we want to make sure that you are logging into your new student portal. Again, you need your Bentley email in order to do that, but that is going to give you access to your online orientation. It's going to give you access to your new student checklist and be able to complete all of those tasks. So please make sure that you're doing that. As you start to navigate through the rest of the summer, you're going to see that there are specific deadlines in regards to your housing application and contract for those students who are planning to live on campus. Your health immunization forms, those are incredibly important. You need to make sure that you are connecting with your doctors so that you're able to make sure that you have the appropriate immunizations in order to be here on campus. If you have questions, we did host a live chat last night for family members. So if your family member attended, they might have heard some of this information. But please make sure that you're connecting so that this is getting done because we do need you to have those all up to date before you can be here on campus. Then July and early August is a lot around registration, making sure that you have the right courses to be able to kickstart your academic career here at Bentley. If you have any ABs, IBs, any advanced standing credits, please make sure that you are getting that information into admission as soon as possible, because if you want that to count towards your courses for this upcoming semester, we do need to have that information to be able to input it into our system so that you'll be able to use that and access that when you're selecting your courses in July or in August. So please make sure that you do that as soon as possible. Then as we start to get closer towards the end of the summer, there'll be some more tasks in regards to bill pay, again, transfer registration, and then there's also some prevention courses that you'll have to complete online, and you really need to make sure that you're getting those completed. You will receive more information in July about those courses, but you do need to make sure that you go on and complete them before you arrive. And then we get to orientation, and that's where all the magic happens, and it's a pretty wonderful experience. So that's kind of a quick snapshot of what the summer is going to entail.
And as we mentioned earlier, we wanted to highlight some additional engagement opportunities. So we've been talking a lot about these Falcon live chat series, and hopefully you've had the opportunity to check out our website and read through the new student guide. But if you haven't already, we wanted to share a quick overview of some of the other Falcon live chats that we'll be hosting specifically for students. So the next one that we have is actually going to be June 19th, and it's called the Falcon Experience, and this one will highlight housing and living on campus. So if you're really interested in getting a more in-depth look about how to get involved, what is the residential experience like, definitely make sure that you tune into that Falcon live chat on June 19th. On the 26th, we'll be highlighting the Healthy Falcon. So some opportunities for you to be thinking about your wellness while you're here on campus, all different types of wellness, both physical and mental, so that you can make sure that you're taking care of yourself as you're starting this new experience. The 16th is the academic registration webinar, so you'll want to make sure to tune into this. This won't be when you actually register for classes, but it will be an opportunity for you to learn more about academics here at Bentley and the curriculum and how you're going to go about the registration process. It is extremely user-friendly once you actually do go into register, and they will explain everything and line it out for you then, and then they'll also be available on the registration day, both for first-year students and for transfer students, to answer any questions that you may have or help you to troubleshoot any challenges that you may face. And then the last Falcon live chat for students is going to be on August 7th, and that is True Life, I'm a Bentley Falcon. That session will be hosted by our 4 student coordinators, and they're really going to highlight for you what their Bentley experience has been like and provide some advice, thoughts, things to get you prepared as you think about becoming a student here and starting your experience, and really what you want to make that to be. So that'll be a really great opportunity for you to connect with some current students, hear about their experience, and also ask them some final questions that you may have prior to arrival on campus for move-in and orientation. In addition to that, through the same platform, Zoom, we also have what we call virtual office hours. So make sure you're checking our website and our social media and Instagram page to see some more dates and times about that opportunity. But that's, again, we're using the same platform, and it's an opportunity for you to use the chat feature and connect with our students and interns and ask any questions that you may have throughout the summer as you're completing tasks, as things come up, and as you're preparing to come to campus in the fall. I just referenced social media engagement, so if you don't follow us already, please be sure to check out our Instagram account at Welcome Falcons. You can also like and follow our Facebook page, Bentley University Orientation, and I know many of you may be members of the Facebook group online, and our student coordinators are in there too, trying to respond to questions as they may come up. So make sure you're connecting with us virtually as well, and look out for different live streams. Go back and check some of our posts on our Instagram from throughout the semester. You can start to check out some of the different experiences and traditions that happen here on campus. You can also see some of the other Bentley accounts that we follow. We engage with a lot of the other departments here on campus, so if you're looking to check out some of the other departments and the programs that they put on and the traditions that they have throughout the year, make sure you check us out there. And then finally, our monthly newsletter series. So we are actually getting prepared to send out our first June newsletter in just a few weeks. So make sure you're checking your email for the opportunity to connect with that. We will also post a link on our Instagram page for you to be able to check it out there. But this is really going to give you a lot of great information about different traditions that we have on campus, share some information about some updates and things to see from the past year that you may want to check out. And again, also keep you up to date on the different tasks that are coming due and provide some more information and context for those different tasks. We know that we may have some family members joining us this evening, or some of you may have parents or family members that might be asking you questions about how they can connect with us as well. So we wanted to provide you some of those opportunities. So they can also access the online orientation through the guest portal, and through there they can view the checklist that you view. They won't see what you've checked off because they will create their own account. They will be able to also go through the entire online orientation program, and it'll be mirror image of what you all are experiencing, except they don't have to complete the quizzes at the end, but make sure you are doing that on your end. So that's a really great way for them to start learning some more about some of the campus resources and departments here at Bentley. We also are going to be sending them monthly family bulletins, so tell them to make sure they're checking out their emails or make sure they're getting on our list so that we can include them on that communication. And we will again start sending them out at the same timeline as your newsletter, so when you receive a newsletter in your inbox, they can receive a family bulletin that is more targeted towards our family members and some of the information that they're looking for. We also have a Family Falcon Live Chat series. So I know we keep referencing the Falcon Live Chat we did yesterday. That was our first Falcon Live Chat for family members, and we'll be hosting a few more throughout the summer with some similar topic areas to the student series, but more targeted towards and geared towards parents and what they need to know in order to support you as a student here at Bentley. In addition to that, this is an opportunity for both you and for your family members, but we will be working with our Office for Alumni and Family Engagement with their summer send-off series. So you may have already, or you may start to receive some information from that office about some regional events that may occur in your area, opportunities for you to connect with other students and family members, both new and current, in your local area. So make sure you're checking your email for that information. And it's important to note that at some of those events, you may have the opportunity to meet some of our orientation team members. So some of the OLs, orientation assistants, and possibly some of the student coordinators, and maybe us at some of those events. And then in addition to that, for family members on move-in day, if they are going to be joining you when you arrive to campus, obviously they'll be helping you out in the morning if you are a residential student moving into your residence hall. If you are a commuter student, they are welcome to join you as you check in for your commuter student check-in and registration. And then from there, we have a vendor fair throughout the morning. So if you want to check in with different departments that'll be there, we'll have some local banks and whatnot to be able to help you get set up if you need to. And then following the vendor fair and lunch, we have what we call our Convocation Program. You as students are required to attend this program, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. But if your family members are going to be sticking around in the area, we encourage them to attend that program as well. If you are a student that is traveling from a far distance, either outside of the Northeast region or internationally, and your family members might be planning to stick around in the area for a few days following move-in, we will have a program for them to connect with staff and faculty here on campus on that Thursday. So encourage your family members to be checking out our orientation website and the Family Resources tab specifically, so they're able to get more information about that program there. And if they have any questions, they can, of course, always email or call us.
So as I said, orientation is really where the magic happens. This is where you're going to have that opportunity to start to feel comfortable here on campus, to be able to get settled in, to start to hopefully meet some of your new best friends. And we wanted to give you some insight into what that week looks like, because there's a lot of different programs that are happening during that week that are before orientation starts, but we do try to connect with folks who are coordinating those efforts to make sure that it's a welcoming experience for all our students, regardless of when they're arriving. So on that Monday, that kickstarts our graduate orientation. So I'm going to make an assumption that if you're joining us right now, that you are not a graduate student, you are a first-time or transfer student. So this does not apply to you. But on that day, we do kickstart our Mosaic program. Our Mosaic program is run out of our Multicultural Center and really is a program that targets some deep thought reflection around your identity. The mission of the Multicultural Center really centers around students of colors and their allies, first generation students, so really making sure that it's a resource center for all of our students. So if that's something that might interest you, you might want to apply to be a part of the Mosaic program. And there's more information up on our website too if you want to look into some of the details regarding that program or the other programs that I speak to. On Tuesday, again, if you're here for the Mosaic program, you'll be going into day 2. Our graduate students will be going into day 2. And then for some other students, they might be arriving on that day. So if you are interested in our defined communities, which are within our residence halls, they are themed areas. In your new student guide, it speaks a little bit to those communities in your newsletter. It will also have some more content. If you're interested in being a part of one of those communities and you apply and get accepted, then you will be arriving on that Tuesday. And there's some programming where you will connect with your faculty and staff advisors. And then on that Wednesday morning, when everybody else is moving in, you, along with folks who are participating in the Mosaic program, will come together for a leadership retreat that morning. If you happen to be in both of those programs, and we've had some students that have done both in the past, the staff does work with you to make sure that you have equal time in both areas so that you can successfully complete both of them. So it's not mutually exclusive. And then the Faraway Falcon arrival. So for students who are traveling internationally and might be coming here to the United States by themselves, we do provide a program called the Faraway Falcon program so that you are able to meet a nice smiling face, someone from the orientation team at Boston Logan Airport. We have 4 pickup times, and then from there, our students are brought here to campus and they're able to move into their residence hall. We understand that when people are traveling internationally, that it can be pretty exhausting. And if you are traveling here by yourself, we want to make sure that you have a partner in this experience. So if you have more questions about that, you will actually see some content in your housing application. When you fill that out, it will give you an opportunity to apply for the Faraway Falcon program there. So please make sure that you are filling that out if you have any questions or if you have any interest in that. If you have any questions, you can always speak with folks in our residential center. Then we get to the big day, and the big day is Wednesday, August 21st, and that's where the majority of our students will be moving in. So first years and transfer students who aren't participating in any of those programs will be arriving to campus during a designated time that the residential center will let you know, and you will be moving into your residence hall. For our commuter students, you are welcome to come onto campus at any point in that morning, but we do usually suggest somewhere around the 11 to 1 o'clock time, just so that you're not necessarily sitting in some traffic as folks are trying to get to their residence halls. We will have our vendor fair on that day. We have lunch with the community, and then we have convocation. So as Steph mentioned, that is something that is mandatory for our students. And if family members happen to stick around, they're invited as well, but it is not mandatory for them. After that is when you're gonna go and you're gonna connect with your orientation group. And this is where you're really gonna start to get to know that inside scoop of Bentley, start to really make some connections and hopefully make this your new home away from home. Throughout the rest of the week, there are going to be a variety of mandatory programs. So there are a lot that you're going to be, there will be a lot throughout the day. There's no doubt about it. We do try to provide breaks for you because we know that this is a big change in your life and we want to make sure that you have some downtime as well, but the days are busy. So we do encourage you to kind of keep that in mind, try to get some rest over those next few days. But the evening programs, usually after about 9 o'clock, those programs are optional. There's some pretty great stuff that our students put together here on campus, and we encourage you to go to those programs, but if you really just need to take a breather and go back and catch some rest, that's okay as well. But why we mention this is because if you do have families staying in the area, there isn't going to be a lot of flexibility and time for you to leave the program to be able to go and spend time with them. So we really do encourage, if you are coming from out of the country or further away, and you're coming here, to maybe come a few days early and maybe spend that time in the Boston area. We can't necessarily let you move into your residence hall early, so that's important to note that the August 21st date is that move-in date, but we do encourage you to spend some of that time on the front end, so that way once you're in orientation, you can really fully be invested in the program. Throughout the rest of the time, you're going to be focusing on our values as an institution, your rights and responsibilities. We're going to have a lot of programming centered around your academic career. We'll have mock classes where you'll get to engage with our faculty. If you need to make any changes to your schedule, you'll be able to do that. And then there'll be some additional programming thinking about how do you spend your time outside of the classroom? How do you want to get involved? What does that look like? What are your goals as you start thinking about your first semester? And then on that last day, we have a few different optional experiences for you. So you really get an opportunity to kind of pick and choose what you want. One really neat tradition that we have on that day is a Dean's Case competition. So this is an opportunity to get a case, to be able to spend some time figuring out how you would respond to that issue at hand. You get to work with a faculty team, some coaches, and then you get to present. And it's really neat because there's involvement with our deans, with our provosts. It's a really great way to just start to make some of those connections. Then there's some other opportunities to go and explore Boston. There's opportunities to play pickup games of basketball or go on a nature hike. We really try to make sure that you get a chance to kind of have some downtime and enjoy whatever that might look like for you. Because then you start classes on Monday. So it's a pretty quick turnaround, but we want to make sure that it is intentional and that it really prepares you for being able to start those classes on that Monday. So we just threw a lot of information at you, but we hope that it has provided a little bit more context to all of the information you've been receiving through your new student guide, through some of your emails. But we do want to leave some time to be able to ask any questions that you still have. So we'd ask that if you can put any of your questions that you might have in the chat box, you can send that so the whole group sees it, or you can send it to us privately, whichever you prefer. And then we are happy to answer those questions for you now.
Great. So it looks like we have one question about accessing the Bentley email account and how would you go about doing that. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to, again, if you haven't done so already, you need to sign your technology ethics agreement through Bentley Connect. and that will generate an email to be sent to the email that you've been using throughout your admissions process, to be sent within 24 hours to that personal email that you've been operating on. And that'll give you information on setting up your Bentley email account and changing the password to be something that you would like to use. And that moving forward, those will be your Bentley credentials. You will use these credentials to log into the new student portal, but that is not how you will access your Bentley email. You'll actually access that through Office 365. So if you go to bentley.edu, you'll see that on the side there are quick links that will take you to your Bentley email. So you can log in there for now, and then once you get on campus, they will get your computer set up so that you can have it on your desktop or pinned to your screen if you would like. I think it's really up to you once you get here how you want to access it, but that is how you will go about accessing the email throughout the summer. And then I think we had another question about any sort of orientation throughout the summer prior to move-in. So to answer that question, the different opportunities in the checklist that you have to complete throughout the summer is part of orientation. So those aren't necessarily in-person opportunity or in-person orientations, but those are part of the orientation experience, and they are required to be completed prior to your arrival and in correspondence with the different deadlines. But in regards to in-person opportunities, we encourage you to take a look at any of the summer send-offs that might be in your area to be able to connect with other new students, current students, and for family members to connect, as well as to connect with some staff and faculty. But then also you'll be able to connect with all of those folks. Our orientation on campus occurs, as we mentioned, the 21st through the 25th. So you'll have a lot of time on campus with us and with your peers to really get to know what it's like to be here at Bentley.
So we had a question about the laptop program. So we actually heard from the director of IT Client Services that an email was supposed to be going out to students today. So we would highly encourage you to check your email because there is a detailed list of all of the options. But at Bentley, the way that it does work is that you're able to select the laptop. If you choose to purchase one through Bentley, you're able to select the option that you would like to go with. If you do not want to go with a Bentley laptop, that is okay. In that email, there should be some information about specifications that you should keep in mind if you're looking at other laptops. But regardless of what laptop you get, there is a staff here on campus that will help you to navigate the softwares that you're going to need for class. As Steph mentioned, helping you to understand how are you pinning things to your computer, what does that look like, all of those pieces. But I'm going to defer to that email because there are going to be a lot more details in there than we have in front of us right now. So I don't want to misspeak, but please do check that email. If you do have questions, feel free to reach out to us, and we are happy to help you navigate that. But the email should have gone to you as the student. And there's also a link in there that connects you to some further information and resources with our help desk.
And then we had a question in regards to course registration, which classes should you take, and where can you find options to choose from? So for this question, first I want to go back to what Bobby Lynn had mentioned about any sort of AP, IB, or college credit courses that you may have taken in high school, and make sure that you're really doing your best to get all of that information over to undergraduate admission probably before the end of June, so they can make sure that that is included in your transcript prior to July when the registration webinar and registration will occur. If you're interested in learning about the different courses, again, we really encourage you to tune in for July 16th registration webinar because they're going to go over all of that information there. The first year at Bentley, whether you are a transfer or a first year student, is a very prescriptive curriculum for our students because you will be taking, and I'm sure you've heard a lot about the GB courses or general business courses, you'll be taking a lot of those throughout your first semester and year at Bentley. So those will kind of be predetermined based on where you're coming in with credits maybe, and what you need to take if you've declared a major or not. In addition to that, some of the other times and things like that will all be discussed throughout the webinar. So again, I'm going to really defer you to be checking out that webinar for that information. And then when you go in to register for courses at the end of July, you'll be able to communicate with staff if you have questions. Like we mentioned, the software is very user-friendly, and if you do need to make changes, they're able to help you do that. But throughout the process, as you're selecting your classes, they can also chat with you over the phone through that process, or email back and forth with you then too.
Yeah, and I would offer up, there's really no bad schedule. I want to be really honest with you. We can't promise you that you're not going to get at 8 a.m. classes, or that you're always going to have Fridays off. That doesn't always work into the schedule, but we will make sure that you have the classes that you need. And the staff there is going to be connecting with you and making sure that you know the information that you need. And I know before we referred to some of those virtual office hours, we will have some faculty that will be hosting virtual office hours. So that will be another opportunity to be able to ask some of those questions. And then during the orientation program in August, we will have time dedicated specifically to learning a little bit more about the curriculum, the course selection that you made. And then if you do wind up needing to make some changes, you'll be able to do that right on site, right with staff there. They'll be able to help you navigate that process. So we know that it can produce some anxiety of, oh my goodness, I need to create this schedule, but staff is going to help you throughout the entire process, really make sure that you have the tools that you need. And it is incredibly user-friendly. I promise you, if I can figure it out, I know that you all are going to be okay with that. But any questions that come up, the staff is here to help you with that.
And same topic, and just want to clarify this before we move forward with other topics. If you do have AP exams where the scores may not come in until July, that is okay. Course registration for first-year students is on July 23rd. So as soon as you receive those scores, make sure you send them over to undergraduate admission so they can add that into your transcript here. So we're making sure to take that into account as you register for classes. So if you ever have questions along the way, or you have a specific scenario that pertains to you, then you can always reach out to us and we'll make sure to connect you with the appropriate individuals to figure things out.
There was one question about the Mosaic program. So the Mosaic program is not invite only. It is a quick application that you fill out. Students should be hearing some information soon about the program and the deadlines, because it is a quick application process. It's not anything intense, but just to make sure that we know why people want to participate, and that people are able to commit to the time frame. So you should be receiving some more information soon. If you don't, and this is something you're really interested in, please feel free to reach out to our orientation account, and we can connect you with the staff members who coordinate that program, because I'm sure they would be happy to see that people are eager to join on in. It usually is around about 100, 110 students each year that participate, so it's a pretty big number. But I would encourage you, if you are interested, you do need to fill out that application, so please make sure that you are doing that once you get that information. There was another question about the virtual office hours. So the virtual office hours are going, we know for sure we're going to have some virtual office hours with our math department because of math placement. So some of our virtual office hours are going to be based on some of the courses that you would be placed into. So once we know for sure all of the faculty that will be involved with that, we will be posting that up on social media. But we know that last year we hosted some virtual office hours with math, and it was really helpful because then people understood, okay, this is my placement, or this is where I want to consider, this is what I'm going to select when I go into my course registration. So as we get more information about that, we will definitely share that with you. But again, any of the staff in our academic advising office is knowledgeable of any of the courses, any of the faculty, so they're going to be able to help address any questions you have, even if it is not a faculty member that's currently teaching that course. Let's see. I saw the course. Okay. So the course chosen by student could be a spot where there might be an elective that you can choose. Again, this is going to be described in that webinar. So in that webinar, they are going to talk you through what are the must-takes that you have to make sure that fit into your schedule. And then if you have some flexibility or availability, what can you fill that schedule with? You know, they're going to make sure that the courses that you need to take within your first year that you receive. So whether you're taking some of those classes in the fall semester or some of those in the spring, we really just need to make sure that you're completing them within your first year. So if it does open up a space for you to be able to put in an elective course, so that might be a course that fits into the core curriculum, that might be a course that just might be of interest to you, then they'll be able to provide you with what those options are. But I really do want to reiterate the webinar that you will participate in and the additional resources that come with that are really going to help prepare you for that course registration. I am very much a planner, so I completely understand where people are coming from of wanting to look at that information and research and try to figure that out now. But I would encourage you to just hold off on that because you're going to be receiving more information. If you're an honors student, you'll receive information. If you're bringing in certain credits, you're going to receive all of that. So I would encourage you to kind of take it as it comes along. And then by that July 16th date, when you have the webinar, they're going to be able to answer all of those questions. And they have the live Q&A like we're doing now. So if you still have questions around that, they're going to be able to help navigate that for you. Let's see. There was one more question about laptops or about computers. I'm going to defer to our help desk about that because I am not confident which is going to be better for classes. I am going to make an assumption that if our staff is putting their name on specific selections, that it's because it's been cleared to be a part of the Bentley curriculum. I think it's probably going to come down to personal preference at that point. But if you do have questions about the specifications or the options, I would encourage you to reach out to our IT client services staff, and they can be accessed at helpdesk@bentley.edu. So we have about a few more minutes to answer any last minute questions. Is there anything else that folks have that we might be able to help answer for you here today? All right, okay. Well,
We do have one more question, I guess.
We did get a question, okay.
So for any of the, I think the question is for the Mosaic program, when do you hear back if you get into the pre-orientation program? And I think it depends on if you're doing Mosaic or Defined Communities. Those are our two pre-arrival programs.
So it is going to be in line with before you hear about your housing assignment, they're going to notify you that you've been accepted into the program. Really, for folks, it's going to be, I want to say, if you email our orientation account, I will get you the exact answer. But I want to say that you will be hearing that information in mid-July along with the housing assignments. But Veronica, if you want to email us at orientation@bentley.edu, we will find you that exact answer. So that way we are not telling you the incorrect information. So for the math courses, so your math courses are they're going to take a look at your high school transcripts. Again, if you're bringing in any of those other credits, and then they're going to place you. If you look in the new student guide, there is a lot of information around why you may be placed in a certain section. Also in our online orientation, there is language around why you might be placed in a certain section. Again, you're always going to be able to work with the faculty to kind of talk through, you know, if they've suggested a specific section are you able to switch into an alternate section? So again, that's going to be based on your conversation with the faculty. And again, during that webinar, they're going to be able to direct what does it mean if I received a course in my schedule and I want to see, I want to be placed into something different. They're going to be able to provide you that context.
And we had a question about registering for future webinars. So we're excited that you've hopefully enjoyed this webinar and want to join us for some of the future dates. So the registration links for the student webinars are, our Falcon Live chats are available on our website. So make sure that you're checking out that information. We'll also probably post them on our Instagram pages as we get closer to each individual one. Please note that if you forget to register in advance, you can always hop in the day of or the night of. So make sure you're checking out our website for all of those different links. And for family members too, the Family Falcon Live chats are also available online and in the information that we're sending out to you through bulletins and other communications. We also had a question too about, for any other questions, if you think of anything, you know, after this webinar or things come up throughout the summer, you are always welcome to email us at orientation@bentley.edu. We also encourage you to check out the last page of the new student guide, because if you do have a question pertaining to a specific department, it might just be a quicker response in terms of that question. But if it is something that we don't know the answer to, or we think it might be best for you to connect with other departments to get the most up-to-date information, or to start to create some of those, you know, relationships and connections on campus, we will make sure to forward you over to those folks. But we are, of course, always available via email, or you can call us on our phone number, which is listed up on the slide as well. We're always going to be able to respond to you and direct you to the either appropriate office or answer the question right then and there. And we had another question about receiving information via your Bentley emails. Yes, once you set up your Bentley email, we will be sending all information via that, that correspondence moving forward. So it is really important, as we mentioned before, that throughout the summer, we understand you might be busy, you may have a summer job, you might still be in high school and wrapping up your high school experience. So we know you have a lot going on, and this is a really exciting time, and there's a lot to make sure that you're prepared to start here at Bentley in the fall. But when you can, go ahead and check your Bentley email to see if anything has come through there, and also be logging into your new student portal to see if there's any announcements via the new student portal as well. And follow along on the guide with the checklist, because it'll really help to outline maybe some of those points where you're going to be receiving more communication. But definitely be checking the Bentley email moving forward. And I think we have one other question about the expository writing placement based solely on your essay, or also based on your tests and grades.
So in the new student guide, it kind of outlines why somebody would be placed in a certain section, what the sections are about. Again, this is going to be another spot where you can always talk about your placement, but they are going to refer to your essay that you write for your placement. If you are bringing in other credits, then I'm sure that's going to be factored in as well, but we do want you to take the essay serious, so that way they're able to see what your writing level is going to look like. All of the writing levels, you're going to get a similar experience. It just might look a little different. So again, if you're an honor student, you might have a separate section. But again, everyone's going to get an expository writing course, and the staff are able to kind of walk you through that. If you feel as though you should be in a different section, they can kind of help you navigate that process. Trying to see. So the Mosaic Program application deadline is July 12th. So I'm trying to get as much information as I can for you, Veronica. So the application deadline for the Mosaic Program will be the 12th. So again, you should be hearing some of that information soon, so that way you're able to apply if you plan to do so. And then I believe, based on this, I want to say that you're going to hear around the same time as you receive your residential assignment, but I'm not seeing that here. So we know deadline for sure is the 12th. We believe that it is around the same time that you receive your roommate, but again, we're happy to provide that specific date so that you know. If you're admitted into the program, that doesn't impact any of your residential pieces. So it would just mean that you would arrive earlier so that you could participate in the program. And even if your roommate isn't, they can then arrive on that Wednesday and they move in, and that's completely fine. So if you're thinking about this in regards to, I don't know if my roommate's going to be doing this, can I still do it? Yes, you can still do it. It just means that you're arriving in on that Monday as opposed to on that Wednesday. We got it. We understand that. People need to travel here, and it's not always just a drive for folks. And for those who need to fly, that makes complete sense that you're going to want to know what that looks like. I would always offer up that you can connect with the staff in that office to see if there's a way to kind of get some of that information beforehand. Again, if you connect with us, we will connect you specifically with them, but we completely understand that you need to make some of those plans pretty soon. Awesome. Well, it seems like we're coming up on time now. As Steph mentioned, we are always going to be available to continue to ask questions. We are going to have more of these Falcon live chats, so please hold some of those questions for the additional live chats that we're going to be having, the virtual office hours. If you have questions, you can always reach out to us, but again, you have all the contact information for the different tasks, so please feel free to reach out to any of the community members. If they don't know an answer, if you ask them about another office, I'm sure they'll be able to help redirect you as well. We just want to help make sure that we can be as supportive during this process as possible. We shared similar content with family members last night, so they were able to hear some of this. So we would encourage you to have some of those conversations with your family members about some of this so that you can really start that dialogue and be able to be partners in this experience. We will have both of these, the family and the student version, available on demand. So if you know of somebody who wasn't able to join in live, we will have these up on our website probably within the next week or so. So please feel free to either refer back to that or share that with whoever might want to view it. But we are really excited that you have chosen to come here to Bentley, and we look forward to continuing to get to know you and really help make sure that this is a smooth transition for you to make the most of your time here at Bentley. So welcome to Bentley, and we hope that you enjoyed learning a little bit more. Have a wonderful night. Thanks.
Have a great night.
Bye.